We're going to start today in the first hour with the ultimate contact sport, live televised presidential debates. Last night's GOP debate, as I said, featured 9 candidates and 1 Will Ferrell character. You could have put prime 2005 Ferrell in a suit and a wig, and he couldn't have been as absurd or as entertaining as the Donald was last night. I think I knew we were in for a treat when they started flashing the credentials of these gentlemen as they spoke. Because it was like, for the others, it was governor, senator, neurosurgeon. And then it gets to Trump, and it's basically casino owner, host of NBC's The Apprentice. For other people, they were like, author of 6 books, once successfully performed surgery on a fetus still in the womb. And Trump, it was like, once fired LaToya Jackson and Gary Busey in the boardroom. No joke, one of his credentials next to these people, it said, owns 16 golf courses. And I'm like, this is my man. This is my man. I like this guy. So awesome. And really, it felt a lot like the smack off in these parts, because right down to the stunts, the game-changing gimmicks, and just like with this year, Brad and Corona, who tried to go wire to wire, we had a big name jumping out early and setting the tone with a big, big move.
Can I see hands? Who is unwilling tonight to pledge your support to the eventual nominee of the Republican Party?
Listen to the crowd.
And pledge to not run an independent campaign against that person.
Yeah.
Again, we're looking for you to raise your hand now. Raise your hand now if you won't make that pledge tonight.
There it is.
Mr. Trump.
Of course it's Mr. Trump. Who do you think it was going to be? Mr. Paul?
Trump, to be clear, you're standing on a Republican primary debate.
I fully understand.
Yeah. You think I don't understand? Stop talking. There's one surprise. There was one surprise that when he put his hand up, that it wasn't just a big middle finger. That's what he should have. That's what he wanted to do. I bet his advisors told him not to do that, begged him not to do that, if he even has advisors. So funny, though. I mean, how about the Stones and the guy? Again, I'm not a huge politics guy. I'm not judging this politically. I'm judging it from comedy and entertainment. I'm guessing a lot of you aren't huge politics people either. But seriously, to start the Republican debate by saying, yeah, I'm not taking any cockamamie vow to support one of these goons. I'll support the candidate if the candidate's me. That right there was when you knew this was going to be the ultimate clown show. Because you tuned into this thing to see how long you'd have to wait until Trump said the first funny thing in the debate. And he said it before we even got to the debate. I mean, what's next? He's going to drum up that old Rosie O'Donnell takedown? Yes!
One of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs,
I can't believe
and
Trump
disgusting
didn't laugh
animals.
there.
Your Twitter account
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
Place goes nuts.
No, it wasn't. For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Yes, I'm sure it was, sweetheart. And by the way, he wanted to call that woman who was very professional, he wanted to call her a word that I can't even remotely refer to on the air. But I guarantee Trump was thinking it. And just like when she says, you refer to them as fat pigs, you could see him biting his tongue so he didn't just laugh right into the microphone. He wanted to. It was halfway out his throat when he stopped it from laughing when she said fat pig. But again, he had the arena eating out of his hand, just like he's had a lot of the country. And there was at one point when he starts talking about, I'm a busy man. I don't have time for political correctness. I almost started thinking, oh, my God, this guy's going to be president.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct.
Thunderous applause.
I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
And there's a lot of people who love hearing that, who have been dying to hear that. But Trump's problem, I mean, look, if it was just about being a showman, being bombastic, this guy could be FDR. It could be a great president. But Trump's problem is just like any smack-off caller's problem. It goes badly when he gets put off script, or when he actually has to answer about presidential issues that veer outside his 3 sound bites. Can you imagine? I love our guys. You know, I love Mike and Chael and Vic and Mark and Brad. But if they were stopped in the middle of their calls and just had to answer random questions about sports or their take or whatever that they weren't prepared for, those guys are pretty good. I'm not sure it would go that well. That's pretty much what Trump had to do. Just out of nowhere, answer questions that he clearly didn't spend any time preparing for, because his deal was, I came here with 3 sound bites. That's all I got. And anything that doesn't fit into my sound bites, that's on you. Anytime he had to veer outside them, it was so obvious that he was trying to crowbar back into the same things again, even though they had nothing to do with it. There was a report from Trump's camp that the Donald didn't do any preparation, like any rehearsal, have guys fire questions or topics at him, simulations, none of that. Why bother, though? He had 3 things to say for any question you could ask. Number 1, we're losing.
We lose to China. We lose to Mexico, both in trade and at the border. We lose to everybody.
Number 2, we need somebody like me. We need somebody like Alvin.
They need somebody like me to straighten out that mess.
A lot of that. And we'll get to that bell in a second. Number 3, our leaders and our politicians are stupid.
Because our leaders are stupid. Our politicians are stupid.
That's it. It didn't matter what question you asked him. He was like the talking head sports personality on the panel show on TV or the debate show who really just has this one point on the Steelers. It's all he came with today. But the topic gets long and they keep going back to him. So he keeps saying that Mike Tomlin is on the hot seat over and over, whatever his point is. We get it. But that was Trump's. No matter what you asked him, he would come with one of those 3 answers. Like if you just said, Mr. Trump, how do we stop ISIS?
Because our leaders are stupid. Our politicians are stupid.
Okay, Mr. Trump, what do we do with Obamacare?
They need somebody like me to straighten out that mess.
And if you were to say, okay, that's a fine answer, but exactly how are you going to straighten out that mess?
We lose to China. We lose to Mexico, both in trade and at the border. We lose to everybody.
Mr. Trump, can you give me a specific answer to how specifically you want us to start winning again?
We lose to everybody.
I know, but how can we actually win? What will you do differently as president?
Our politicians are stupid.
But that would suggest that you're smart, you're intelligent. If they're stupid and what they're doing isn't working, what will you, as a man of intelligence, then do differently?
They need somebody like me to straighten out that mess.
What is it about you?
We lose to everybody.
You get the point, all right? If you take your politics real seriously or you're a staunch Republican, you were probably upset or even offended that he was up there. If you're like me and you just want to show, especially this far ahead of the election when the stakes aren't that high yet, this was the greatest debate you've ever seen. And Mr. Trump was the only reason I watched the whole thing. I don't think I'm going to vote for him. I don't think I'm going to get the chance to vote for him, but I love watching him because really, the debate format does need a shot in the arm. I was just saying last night, they need to dial up the production of the thing. I would like it a lot more if they did a live scoring, like Around the Horn style. I used to watch Around the Horn all the way back in the day when Kellerman hosted it, and then it's just been a great show. I love that. I think reality does a great job. They need to do that for debates. We need to see a scoreboard. Americans love a scoreboard. Give points for good comments, give deductions for stupid comments, mute buttons, and even more trapdoors. Like if the Donald did what he did to Rand Paul and you don't even respond, good night.
Newsflash, the Republican Party's been fighting against a single-payer system for a decade. So I think you're on the wrong side of this if you're still arguing for a single-payer system.
I don't think you heard me. You're having a hard time tonight.
Yeah, I love that someone went after Mr. Trump with a newsflash. Here's your newsflash. You're having a hard time tonight.
Newsflash.
You get that and you don't respond, which Rand Paul didn't. That's a Dr. Evil-style trapdoor. See ya. We need some of that. I've always thought at the Scripps National Spelling Bee, when a kid gets a word wrong, they should drop like the Nickelodeon slime on them just to make them more nervous and more entertaining. At the debates, you get embarrassed, you get trapdoored. There was another note, too, in the news that since they played it in Cleveland, where the Cavs are, They were legitimately considering, this is not me making a joke, they were legitimately considering using the shot clock buzzer when people talk too long, like the 24-second shot clock, the thing that goes off. That would be great. That thing. Like if Trump is going on too long about how great he is and how stupid the leaders are, you get the buzzer like you would if LeBron is standing at the top of the key dribbling too long and launches a 30-footer. That would be great. Just like here on this show, you get something similar. But the difference is they punked out and they use the safest, softest little Tinkerbell. I mean, like that's not an intimidating bell, right? They need a stronger sound because really that bell, when that goes off, is when you separate the contenders from the pretenders. I love watching how candidates react to that bell. Some people, Jeb Bush, get intimidated by it. They curl up, they speed up, they yip up, they peter out. I love the ones who get emboldened by the bell. They hear that and they say, now it's showtime. They say, now it's showtime. You think I'm done yet? Watch this. It's like the winners at the Oscars who still scream their speeches even when they cut the mic. I want a world leader who's not intimidated by the little bell. That's what you ring at the counter of a motel when you're trying to check in and the guy's in the back room. These colors don't run from that bell. You can ring that thing all day. I'm still going to stand here and scream that America is losing. So I'll try that today. I'm going to use the GOP bell to give callers a fair warning. If I'm getting tired of your call, if it's dying, if it's going on too long, you're going to hear this. Let's see how you react. Can you quickly land the plane, or do you nosedive right into the dirt? Don't react to the GOP bell. You get the shame bell. That's how we're doing the next 2 hours.